everyone, welcome back to Onyx Pages. I am Jerry, and this may be the last haul of the year, but I'm going to take you through some of the books that I've purchased in the past month and a half. So without further ado, let's just do it. So the first book is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the long-awaited sequel to Children of Blood and Bone. This, a lot of folks are reading it, and I haven't really watched a lot of the reviews, but I know that it's definitely hyped, and I myself am really looking forward to reading it. As you know, I had a troubled past with the Children of Blood and Bone, but I am really interested in seeing how the plot develops in this sequel, and also whether the feedback that Tomi Adeyemi got over social media, since I know she's quite active on it, influenced in any way how this story develops. So I am looking forward to digging into it perhaps over the holidays. Okay, let me do these guys. So I have boxes. Tomi, can you pass me scissors, please? Okay, so while Tomi is getting me scissors, I will tell you that I went to the City and the City Books in Hamilton, Ontario, which is a very sweet bookstore, and I got a bunch of, thank you, vintage science fiction and fantasy, and I will take you to those now. So this is the 1973 annual World's Best Science Fiction. This collection was put together by Donald A. Wollheim, and it selects the top 10 science fiction stories featuring Poul Anderson, Clifford Seamack, Frederick Pohl, Michael Coney, and James Tiptree Jr. and others. And this book was interesting to me. As you know, I collect vintage science fiction books. This was really interesting to me, not only because this collection was put together in 1973, but all of the named authors on the front cover are men, which is rare nowadays. And actually, when I look through all the people who were published, we've got Paul, James, Michael, Frederick, Clifford, TJ.W., Robert Werner, and we have Phyllis McClellan. So it looks like there's only one woman featured in this collection. Then I got two titles. So both of these books were written by Ishmael Reed. The first one is called Flight to Canada, and the second one is called The Freelance Pallbearers, which is kind of funny when you think of what pallbearers do. So I'll just read the back of both. This is for The Freelance Pallbearers first, and I think this is Ishmael Reed's debut novel. So first of all, it's blurbed by James Baldwin, which I think is always a good sign. Ishmael Reed's electrifying first novel zooms readers off to a land they have never heard of, a crazy, ominous kingdom called Hairy Sam, a never land so weirdly out of whack that only reality itself could be stranger. Venturing into this risky realm of 1,000 contradictions is the quixotic Buka Dupdiguk, a crusading liberal fellow who is eager, if not always ready, to face the dangers of life. And dangers abound, jousting and colliding with the macabre carousel of cops and beatniks, elks and black Muslims. He suffers a series of cockeyed misfortunes, maddening, saddening, and wildly uproarious. The Freelance Pallbearers fires a volley of savage torpedoes at the world's absurdities. Its rollicking language and blasphemous humor hide a merciless message. Okay, so that tells me really nothing about what the story is about, and I'm okay with that, but I understand that this has elements of magical realism and fantasy, so there's that. And then there's Flight to Canada. Ishmael Reed has created a sharp, wildly funny slave's eye view of the Civil War. 3 slaves infected with Disathesia atypica, which is a term coined in 19th century for the disease that makes Negroes run away, escaped from Virginia. Not satisfied with leaving slavery halfway, one of the trio has vowed to go the whole distance to Canada. His master, Arthur Swile, determined to recover his property, pursues Hot on Raven Quickskill's trail. With myth-bending ingenuity, Reed merges history, fantasy, political reality, and high comedy as he parodies the fugitive slave narrative. The slave poet Quicksill flees to Canada on a non-stop jumbo jet. Abe Lincoln waltzes through slave quarters to the tune of Hello Dolly. The plantation mistress lies in bed watching the Beecher Hour on TV. Flight to Canada's preposterous episodes leap out of the pages of history to reveal a keen sense of America's past and present. And this also was blurbed by James Baldwin. So the next book is one that I'm pretty excited about. It is a vintage book, and it's called Star Trek Chronology. And this is by Michael Okuda and Denise Okuda, which is pretty cool. It's actually very, very heavy as well. It's called The History of the Future. And what this does, I bought it used, and it actually is an encyclopedia of Star Trek from the very first Star Trek episodes. I don't know if you can see that. This is not good cinematography, but that's okay. It's not a film. So it's got photos. It's got photos from the television show, and then it has short biographies of each of the characters, and then I think it actually describes some of the more popular episodes from each of the different Star Trek series. So it's got like year 2 and 3 of the original, and it goes all the way to, there's a cool index as well. Ooh, it's got an appendix of planets and their societies. It goes all the way to Deep Space Nine. Yeah, it goes to Deep Space Nine, which was, I think, one of my most, actually no, it goes to Voyager. So that is, that's pretty cool. When was it? This was, the first printing was in 1996. Yep, and it goes to the second year of Voyager. So, so yeah, looking forward to that. And oh, my battery's dying. Before the battery dies, this is Hot Comb by Ebony Flowers, and Hot Comb, it's a debut graphic novel. It's a collection of haunting short stories about the Black experience that go beyond hair and beauty. Issues of race, class, gender, and family bonds are all explored with her vivid comics. So, looking forward to this. I don't know very much about Ebony Flowers, but I really liked the cover art. And my mother used to hot comb my hair when I was a little girl, so I'm really curious about what this book has to do with that. But also, if you look at the cover, and I'll try and give you a close-up, if you're a fan of The Neverending Story, then you will recognize the gates here. The last book that I got from the City and the City Books, which was actually referred to me, it was recommended to me by the owner, is called Triangulum by Masande Changa. And Masande Changa is a South African writer of speculative fiction, I believe. I didn't know anything about this book, and I hadn't heard of the author before she recommended this book to me, so I'm very grateful. And here's what it reads at the back. An astronomer receives a mysterious manuscript titled Triangulum, containing a memoir and a set of digital recordings from an unnamed woman who claims the world will end in 10 years. The manuscript is passed around the office as a curiosity, but when eco-terrorist activities described begin happening, and with startling precision, the amusement becomes deadly serious. I'm liking the ominous, mysterious, package that I'm seeing here. So those are the books that I got from the City and the City bookstore, and now I'm going to open some packages. Oh, fun. Okay. So the first book is one that I've been looking forward to and I've been meaning to purchase. It is an older title, and this is The Good House by Tananarive Due. Tananarive Due is an expert on Afrofuturism. She is a writer of horror novels. She also teaches, I want to say at Columbia, but I might be wrong, but she teaches a course on Black horror, and she also has an online course on Afrofuturism, which she co-teaches with her husband Stephen Barnes, who is also a writer of, I believe he writes horror and also speculative or science fiction. So The Good House is a ghost story. From the American Book Award winner and author of one of the most talked about debuts in the horror field since the advent of Stephen King comes a terrifying story of supernatural suspense as a woman searches for the inherited power that can save her hometown from evil forces. Tananarive Due's first 3 novels gained her legions of dedicated fans who recognize a true master of the genre. Now she returns with her best yet, a chilling story set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. The house Angela Toussaint's late grandmother owned is so beloved that townspeople in Sacagawea, Washington call it the Good House. But is it? Angela hoped her grandmother's famous healing magic could save her failing marriage while she and her family lived in the old house the summer of 2001. Instead, an unexpected tragedy ripped Angela's family apart. Now, 2 years later, Angela is moving past her grief and taking control of her life as a talent agent in Los Angeles, and she's finally ready to revisit the rural house she loved so much as a child. Back in Sacagawea, Angela realizes she hasn't been the only one to suffer a shocking loss. Since she left, there have been more senseless tragedies, and Angela wonders if they are related somehow. Could the events be linked to a terrifying entity Angela's grandmother battled in 1929? Did her teenage son Corey reawaken something that should have been left sleeping? With the help of Miles Fisher, her high school boyfriend, and clues from beyond the grave, Angela races to solve a deadly puzzle that has followed her family for generations. She must summon her own hidden gifts to face the timeless adversary stalking her in her grandmother's house and in the Washington woods. So that is The Good House. And it was blurbed by Nalo Hopkinson, who you know is, altogether now, my favorite writer. So that's The Good House by Tananarive Due. And then I finally got a copy of How Long Till Black History Month, which was the collection of short stories put out by N.K. Jemisin, I believe in 2018, I want to say. Yes, by 2018. And it just says here, N.K. Jemisin is one of the most powerful and acclaimed speculative fiction authors of our time. In the first collection of her short fiction, which includes several never-before-seen stories, Jemisin equally challenges and delights with narratives of destruction, rebirth, and redemption. Dragons and hateful spirits haunt the flooded streets of New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. In a parallel universe, a utopian society watches our world, trying to learn from our mistakes. A black mother in the Jim Crow South must save her daughter from a fae offering impossible promises. And in the Hugo Award-nominated short story, The City Born Great, a young street kid fights to give birth to an old metropolis's soul. Now, I'm excited about The City Born Great because that is set in the same world of The City We Became, which is an upcoming novel that will be released by N.K. Jemisin in 2020. So that's one of the reasons that I got this book, but also I haven't read many of N.K. Jemisin's short stories. I've only read one, which was called Emergency Skin, which was really wonderful, and I'm looking forward to her writing. I like that she's taking up speculative fiction in the context of some of the most bustling American metropolises. Right, Tommy?
Yeah.
Tommy has her headphones on, and I don't even know that she can hear me, but she's here.
Have one ear in and one ear plug out.
One ear in and one ear out. Okay. So, I don't know if this is going to be my last haul. I don't think it is, because I think I have a couple more books. But these are the last. This is the last one, which I'm quite pleased with. This is also a hardcover, and this is The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I believe, I want to say this came out in October or November, I want to say, but I don't have the date. Why even pretend? But it did come out in 2019. So the Water Dancer was released with a significant amount of aplomb and acclaim. I first found out about this because I watched the wonderful review done by Rachel Ray on her channel. And also because this is the first book read by Oprah's book club, it definitely got a lot of hype. Now you would know Ta-Nehisi Coates, hopefully, because he's legitimately a genius. Like, I think he actually got like the certificate of being a genius from someone, the genius certificate people. But he writes a lot of nonfiction on, you know, contemporary issues in America, specifically on issues of race. And this is his first work of fiction. And I've heard mixed reviews of it, and but I often wonder what it would be like for somebody who is very well known for their nonfiction work to transition into fiction. I don't know. I guess I will find out. So here, the blurb is actually quite short. I am here, telling this story, and not from the grave, not yet, but from the here and now, peering back into another time when we were tasked and close to the earth, and close to a power that baffled the scholars and flummoxed the quality, a power like our music, like our dance, that they cannot grasp because they cannot remember. Now, you'll know, if you've been part of the Onyx Pages community, that I love stories about African folks and water. I just finished reading the amazing novella The Deep by Rivers Solomon, and there are a number of other stories that are about African people and their relationship with water, and in particular underwater, like Mother of the Sea by Zetta Elliott, and like The New Moon's Arms by Nalo Hopkinson. And so here we have another one. I don't know if it has to do with Black folks underwater, but I know that it definitely has to do with water, because cover. There's water. The cover art is it's intoxicating, and I love this sort of velvet cover as well. So I am looking forward to reading this at some point. It's a significant book. I mean, we've got, yeah, it's over 400 pages. So it will be a commitment, but it is definitely one of the ones I'm proud to have in my collection. So that is it for my second last or last haul of 2019. If you have any of these books or you've got comments about them, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you've read any of them, please feel free to leave your comments below and let me know what you thought of them. If you are going to talk about the plot in a way that some might perceive to be spoilers, then please consider marking your comments with spoiler alert. I'm fine, but I know that other people have concerns about spoilers. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please like it. If you have watched all the way to the end, please leave the word water in your comment. And if you are not a subscriber of the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. That is meaningful to me. Happy holidays, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.